The truth about bread and diabetes. If you have diabetes, you've probably heard the command. It's not a suggestion, it's a rule handed down from doctors, dietitians, and well-meaning relatives. Stay away from bread. You're told it's a blood sugar nightmare, a forbidden food, a one-way ticket to a glucose spike that'll throw your health off track for hours, maybe even days. You've been made to feel that a single slice of toast, a simple sandwich, is your enemy. For years, millions of us have followed this rule, believing it was the only way. We've pushed away the bread basket, mourned the loss of a morning sandwich, and resigned ourselves to a life of lettuce wraps and fork and knife burgers. It's a feeling of deprivation, a constant nagging reminder of what you can't have. But what if that's a lie? Or, to be more accurate, what if it's a dangerous half-truth that's costing you the joy of eating, creating needless fear, and keeping you from a simple, satisfying part of life? The real secret isn't avoiding bread. It's knowing how to read the signs, how to spot the right one on the shelf, and how to build your plate around it. The truth is, you can eat bread. You just have to know which one. And today, we're going on an investigation together. We're going to expose the myths, look at the science, and reveal the exact breads you can put back on your table without the guilt or the glucose spike. This is the truth about bread and diabetes. Section 1. The Great Bread Betrayal. Before we can find the heroes of the bread aisle, we have to understand the villain. We need to shine a spotlight on why bread became public enemy number one for anyone managing their blood sugar. The main culprit, the one that gave all bread its bad reputation, is that fluffy, ever-present, and deceptively simple slice of standard white bread. To get why it's so problematic, you have to think of it less like bread and more like a sugar delivery system. The journey of white bread starts with a process called refining. A whole wheat grain has three parts: the fibrous, bran, the nutrient-rich germ, and the starchy. The grain is put through an aggressive milling process that strips away the bran and the germ, leaving only the endosperm, which is almost pure starch. This creates a flour that's soft, shelf-stable, and bakes into a light, airy loaf. But in doing so, it strips out the vast majority of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. When you eat a slice of this stuff, your body barely has to work. There's no fibrous shield to slow things down. Your digestive enzymes get instant access to that refined starch and convert it into glucose with shocking efficiency. The result? A flood of sugar into your bloodstream. We measure this with something called the glycemic index, or a scale from 0 to 100 that tells us how quickly a food raises blood glucose. Pure glucose is 100, standard white bread. It has a glycemic index often around 75, which is staggeringly high. It behaves in your body almost identically to eating straight sugar. One clinical observation found that eating regular white bread caused a massive blood sugar surge of 8.6, which your body, especially a body with insulin resistance, struggles to handle. This immediate, dramatic spike is what does the damage. It forces your pancreas to work overtime, contributes to inflammation, and overeating leads to the very complications people with diabetes are desperately trying to avoid. So the advice to avoid bread wasn't born from nothing. It came from the very real and damaging effects of this one type of bread that took over grocery store shelves for decades. But the problem goes beyond a blood sugar reading. This advice created a culture of fear. It's the feeling of being the difficult one at a restaurant. It's the quiet sadness of not sharing the same meal as your family. It's the daily grind of seeing a food that brings comfort to so many and knowing that for you, it's off. This feeling of deprivation is a heavy psychological burden. And it's this burden we're going to lift today by moving past the villain and uncovering the shocking secret about its supposedly healthy alternative. Section 2. The whole wheat myth. So, you did what you were told. You tossed the white bread. You walked right past it in the store and made a beeline for the healthy aisle. And there it was, sitting on the shelf like a nutritional halo. 100% whole wheat bread. It's brown, it looks healthy, the label screams whole grains, and every expert told you this was the one to choose. You felt good about it. You were making the responsible choice. You took it home, made a sandwich, and maybe you checked your blood sugar an hour later, expecting to see a gentle, rolling hill. Instead, you saw a mountain, a spike nearly as high and as fast as the white bread you dutifully abandoned, and you were left confused, betrayed, and frustrated, thinking, I followed the rules. What went wrong? This is one of the biggest and most misunderstood facts in the world of diabetes and nutrition. Brace yourself for the truth when it comes to that immediate blood sugar spike. Most commercial whole wheat bread is not significantly better than white bread. The data is clear and, for many, shocking. While white bread has a glycemic index around 75, many common, finely milled whole wheat breads clock in at a GI between 71 and 74 in terms of their immediate impact. They are virtually identical. Multiple studies have confirmed this unexpected similarity. Your blood sugar meter wasn't lying. Your feeling of betrayal was justified. But how? It all comes down to modern flour production. While it's true that whole wheat flour uses all three parts of the grain, the processing is key. To get that soft, fluffy loaf consumers expect, the grain is still pulverized into an incredibly fine powder. While this keeps the fiber and nutrients technically present, it dramatically increases the surface area of the starch. Think of it this way: a whole log on a fire burns slowly. But if you turn that log into sawdust and toss a match on it, it ignites in a flash. Same material, different particle size. The fine milling of most whole wheat flour makes its starch just as accessible to your digestive enzymes, leading to a breakdown into glucose that's almost as rapid as refined white flour. So, even though the fiber's there, it can't act fast enough to stop that initial sugar rush. Now, this is where the nuance comes in. It would be wrong to say whole wheat bread is bad. It is absolutely a better nutritional choice than white bread. It has more fiber for gut health, more B vitamins, iron, and magnesium. And compelling evidence shows that a higher intake of whole grains as part of a balanced diet is linked to better long-term blood sugar control, improved HbA1c, lower triglycerides, and higher good HDL cholesterol. So, what's the takeaway? The great whole wheat myth is that it's a free pass for your blood sugar. It's not. For that immediate spike, it can be just as problematic as its white bread cousin. This doesn't mean you should ban it, but it means you can't rely on the whole wheat label alone to protect you. You need a better set of tools. You need the golden rules of bread selection. Section 3. The 3 golden rules of bread selection. This is where the power shifts back to you. The confusion ends now. We're going to establish a clear 3-step system you can use every single time you're in the grocery store. These 3 golden rules will let you look at any loaf, decode its label, and know with confidence whether it's a friend or a foe to your blood sugar. Think of this as your new superpower in the bread aisle. Golden Rule 1. The fiber shield. Fiber is, without a doubt, your single most important ally in a diabetes-friendly bread. It's your primary defensive shield against a rapid blood sugar spike. For blood sugar control, soluble fiber is the MVP. When it mixes with water in your gut, it forms a thick gel. This gel physically slows everything down. It slows stomach emptying and, more importantly, slows the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. Instead of a flash flood of glucose, you get a slow, gentle trickle. So, how much is enough? A great benchmark, recommended by many dietitians, is at least 3 grams of fiber per slice. Some truly excellent breads pack in 4, 5, or even more. If a slice has less than 3 grams of fiber, it simply doesn't have a strong enough shield to protect you from its carbs. That's a red flag. Always look for that number first. It's non-negotiable. Golden Rule 2, the net carb code. You've heard the term net carbs, but it's often poorly explained. Cracking this code is your second superpower. Total carbohydrates on a label tell you the total amount, but not all carbs are created equal. The fiber portion doesn't get converted into glucose, so it doesn't raise your blood sugar. The net carb code gives you a much more accurate picture of a bread's true impact. The formula is simple. Total carbohydrates, dietary fiber, equals net carbs. Let's walk through a real-world example. You pick up 2 loaves. Loaf A says, total carbs, 15 grams. Fiber, 1 gram a loaf. B says, Total carbs, 15 grams. Fiber, 5 grams. On the surface, they look identical. But let us apply the code. Loaf, A, 15 grams. Total carbs, 1 gram fiber equals 14 grams net carbs. Loaf, B, 15 grams. Total carbs, minus 5 grams. Fiber equals 10 grams net carbs. Suddenly, the picture is crystal clear. Loaf B will have a significantly smaller impact on your blood sugar, while there's no single magic number for everyone. A good starting point for a single slice of bread is to aim for 10 to 12 grams of net carbs or fewer. Always do this simple math before a bread goes in your cart. Golden rule number 3. The first ingredient in added sugar test. The front of the package is marketing. The back is information. You have to ignore the front and master the back. Terms like multigrain, made with whole grains, or wheat bread are often legally meaningless, designed to trick you. Multigrain just means it contains more than one grain, but they could all be refined. The only way to know the truth is to check the ingredients list, which is listed by weight. The very first ingredient must say 100% whole wheat, sprouted whole wheat, whole rye, or another whole grain. If the first ingredient is just wheat flour or enriched wheat flour, you are holding a loaf of refined bread, no matter how brown they've made it look with molasses. Part 2 of this rule is the hunt for hidden sugars. Bread doesn't need to be sweet. Manufacturers add sugar for taste, texture, and shelf life. Become a sugar detective. Scan the ingredients for sugar, high fructose corn syrup, honey, dextrose, or evaporated cane juice. While a tiny amount isn't a deal breaker, it's a sign of a lower quality product. A good rule of thumb is to aim for 3 grams of added sugar per slice or less. Ideally, you want to see 1 gram or even 0 grams. There you have it. The 3 golden rules. The fiber shield. At least 3 grams of fiber per slice. The net carb code. Aim for 12 grams of net carbs or less per slice. The first ingredient and added sugar test. First ingredient must be whole, and added sugar should be 3 grams or less. Any bread that passes these 3 tests is a contender. Now, let's go find the champions. Section 4. The champions of the bread aisle. Armed with our golden rules, we can now venture back into the grocery store with confidence, not fear. We can walk past the villains and the myths to identify the true champions to breads that are dense, fibrous, and low glycemic. Champion number 1. True sourdough. Sourdough is fascinating because its magic comes from fermentation. Authentic sourdough isn't made with commercial yeast. It's made with a starter, a living colony of wild yeast and beneficial bacteria. As this starter ferments the dough, the bacteria pre-digest the starches, effectively lowering the amount of sugar that hits your bloodstream. This is what gives sourdough its tangy flavor and what can lower its glycemic index. While regular white bread can have a GI of 75, a true whole grain sourdough can be around 54. Be careful, though. Many commercial sourdough breads are fakes with sour flavoring added. A true sourdough's ingredients should just be flour, water, salt, and starter. You should not see yeast on the label. Champion 2. Sprouted grain bread. Sprouted grain bread, like the popular Ezekiel 4-9 bread, is another champion. You'll often find it in the freezer section since it's made without preservatives. Here's how it works. The whole grains like wheat, barley, and lentils are soaked and allowed to germinate or sprout before being ground. This process causes enzymes to break down the starches, meaning fewer carbs are left to be converted into glucose in your body. The result is a bread that is remarkably blood sugar friendly. Ezekiel 4-9 bread, for instance, has a glycemic index that can be as low as 36. A typical slice has around 15 grams of carbs, but also 3 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein, bringing its net carb count to just 12 grams, a perfect fit for our rules. Champion 3. The German powerhouse is rye and pumpernickel. If you're looking for the undisputed heavyweight champs of low glycemic bread, look no further than traditional, dense, German-style rye and pumpernickel. We're not talking about the light, marbled rye from the deli, which is mostly wheat flour. We're talking about the dark, heavy loaves made from 100% whole rye. Rye is a nutritional powerhouse, naturally high in a unique type of fiber that's exceptional at blocking sugar absorption. This gives it an incredibly low glycemic index, often ranging from 32 quart. One study showed that while white bread caused a glucose spike of 8.6 mol, a specialty rye bread produced only a 4.4 mol L-Reza. Profoundly different effects. Pumpernickel, made from coarsely ground, whole rye and baked low and slow, is similarly low on the GI scale, around 41 to 46. These breads are dense, filling, and second to none for blood sugar control. Champion 4, modern keto and low-carb breads. Finally, we have to acknowledge the new players on the field. Modern keto and high-fiber low-carb breads. Brands like Hero Bread or Arnold Sapira Keto have engineered breads specifically for a low-carb lifestyle. They achieve incredibly low net carb counts, sometimes just 1 or 2 grams by using a base of modified wheat starch, wheat protein, and alternative flours packed with a huge amount of fiber. For many people, these breads have virtually no impact on blood sugar. The pros are obvious. They mimic the taste and feel of traditional bread with minimal glycemic effect. The cons can be their cost and long ingredient lists. Still, for someone who desperately misses a classic sandwich, they can be a fantastic option. Section 5. The ultimate bread hack. It's not just the bread, it's the building. We've found our champion breads. But there's one more secret, and it might be the most important one of all. The ultimate truth is this. The glycemic impact of bread is massively influenced by what you eat with it. An incredible study on sandwiches made a groundbreaking discovery. When people ate plain white bread or plain whole wheat bread, their blood sugar spikes were similarly high. But when they made sandwiches-a-day fillings with fat and protein like cheese or meat, the glycemic difference between the two breads practically vanished. The fillings had a greater influence on the overall blood sugar response than the type of bread itself. This is a game changer. It means you can control your blood sugar response not just by choosing the right bread, but by building the right meal around it. Strategy 1. Protein and fat buffer. Never eat a carb naked. That is the cardinal rule. You must always pair bread with protein and healthy fat. They act as a brake on your digestive system, slowing down the rate at which glucose from the bread enters your bloodstream. Instead of toast with sugary jam, transform it. Add a generous spread of avocado. Use natural peanut or almond butter with no added sugar. Top it with a scrambled egg. Build a sandwich with turkey, chicken, or cheese. Dressing your bread in fat and protein turns a potential spike into a gentle curve. Strategy 2. The veggie preload. This is simple, but remarkably effective. Before you even take a bite of your sandwich, eat some non-starchy vegetables, small side salad, a handful of celery sticks, or some sliced cucumbers. These veggies are full of fiber. By eating them first, you're setting up a fiber shield before the carbs even arrive. This gets a head start on slowing down absorption and helps you feel fuller. Strategy 3. The open-faced strategy. This is the simplest math you can do for better blood sugar control. When you make a sandwich, use 1 slice of bread instead of 2. An open-faced sandwich instantly cuts your carb load from the bread in half. This allows you to pile on more of the good stuff, more protein, healthy fats, and veggies. An open-faced turkey sandwich on a slice of sprouted grain bread, loaded with avocado and tomato, is a nutrient-dense, blood sugar-friendly meal. So, the truth isn't that you can't eat bread, it's that you have to eat the right bread in the right way. You have to be a food architect, not someone who follows outdated, restrictive rules. We've learned that the real villain is refined bread that acts like sugar. We know that many healthy whole wheat breads can be a myth, and that your power lies in the 3 golden rules: the fiber shield, the net carb code, and the first ingredient test. We've met the champions: sprouted grain, rye, and new low-carb options. And most importantly, we've learned that building a better meal with protein, fat, and veggies is just as crucial as picking the right slice. This knowledge is your freedom. It is your permission slip to enjoy a sandwich again and your ticket out of the prison of food fear. You are in control. You have the tools to walk into any grocery store, analyze any loaf, and make an empowered choice that serves your health. Now, I want to turn this investigation over to you. Our community is our greatest resource. What's your go-to blood sugar-friendly bread? How do you prepare it? Share your secrets and successes in the comments below. Every comment has the power to help someone else on this journey. And if this helped bust a myth for you today, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have a lot more truths to uncover together.